Good evening, adventurers. Tonight we have the follow-up tale to Kevin, the power gamer, who likes to ruin the fun for the rest of the party. Part 1 will be linked in the description. Tonight, however, Kevin will actively ruin a campaign and find it hilarious. Let's get into it. Tonight's tale is called Kevin Nukes a Campaign. For those who didn't read the previous post, Kevin is the worst power gamer I've ever played with. And last time I detailed the time his character kept trying to kill a prisoner we were all trying to interrogate, just because he could. This incident actually starts about a month before the other story, and I wish that I had learned that nobody except Kevin is allowed to have fun when Kevin plays. The concept of this campaign was that all of our characters were from an isolated town, surrounded on all sides by mountains. And as the campaign started, the town was attacked by a group of foreigners connected to the town's dark history. I was playing a bard. There are a few other players whose characters I have long forgotten. The Dungeon Master is the same as the other story, and then of course we have Kevin. He was playing something new that he'd read about. Some kind of magical archer who deals tons of elemental damage with every arrow. I wasn't interested in the specifics of the build, but he was basically one-shotting an enemy or two every turn in combat. Around our 10th session, we'd heard that some race of subterranean humanoids had dug their way up through the nearby mountains, and we theorised that their tunnels might have been what allowed those who attacked our village to sneak away. So we went to investigate. With all of us being fairly stealthy, we managed to stake out the place and learned that a group of insane gnomes were mining strange opalescent crystals, very slowly and carefully bringing them up to the surface. Some decent knowledge rolls told us that these crystals were suffused with elemental energy and could be very volatile if jostled or damaged. While the rest of us made plans on how to deal with these gnomes without all getting ourselves killed, Kevin made his move. You said there was a big minecart full of crystals right outside the cave, and another partway into the cave, right? I want to see how volatile these crystals actually are, so I'm going to shoot the cart inside the mine. The rest of us were astounded by Kevin's stupidity, and our characters immediately started running away. Kevin of course hit the minecart with his plus 20 to hit, and triggered all of his elemental damage effects, dealing a ton of damage. And then the Dungeon Master told us all to take a bathroom break. He had a lot of rolling and a lot of maths to do. When we came back from our break, the Dungeon Master sent us a link to information about the specs for some kind of atomic bomb. I can't remember which one it was, but it was nasty. And he told us that this is what happened. Kevin's stupidity set off a chain reaction that travelled all the way down the mine shaft to the source that they were mining the crystals for. And where the valley and the village once were, there was a nasty scar on the continent. All of our characters were instantly disintegrated. All of us were extremely bummed out about this, since we were attached to this campaign and to our characters. Well, everyone except Kevin. He found it hilarious that he's ruined the entire campaign, and was saying things along the lines of, I think this is the most damage any character has ever dealt with a single arrow. Dungeon Master, tell me how much damage in total I did to the continent. After this, we started on the super soldier campaign mentioned in the previous story, and since it took place in another part of the same continent, every now and then we would see or hear things about the catastrophe that took place. And every time, all of the players would have a moment of silence. Well, we would try, until it was interrupted by more of Kevin's joking and bragging. And there we have it. So, there we go, another tale of Kevin. And yes, he does of course ruin the campaign. However, there is something to be said of the Dungeon Master here too. They may as well replace the explosives with a button that says "Don't push." Seems like it's almost bait. And ultimately, the Dungeon Master gets to decide how big the explosion is. All I'm left with here is confirmation of Kevin's selfishness, and many, many questions for the Dungeon Master. Have any of you ever had a big red button in your game? What happened when it was pressed? And If you enjoyed the content, please take a moment to like and subscribe. We've been steadily growing in subs recently, and I wanted to take a moment to say a big thank you to all of you. I'm very touched by all of the views that I get, and the thought that even one other person enjoys my videos really does warm my heart. So, thank you. Anyway, that's all I have for this evening. Good night.